Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review. And today we're taking a look at the brand new Black Myth WuKong, the Destine 1/112 scale figure by Queen Studios. And this is a part of their 1/12 Inart line. And I'm excited for this guy because they've been killing it with this stuff so far. They're kind of new to the 1/12 scale line. They put out a couple of figures this year, and both of them were great. They started off with Batman, and then they put out another Black Myth WuKong character. I can't remember how to say his name, but it's the little pig guy. I did a review for him. I did a review for both of those figures, actually, so be sure to check those out on the channel. But yeah, man, being that they're so new to the 1/12 scale line, they're off to a great start. So I can't wait to see where they go from here. For now, I'm very excited about this guy right here. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So starting off with the packaging, there's not a whole lot going on. I do like the simplified look that they go with for their characters, and this looks really cool, man. There's a little bit of artwork on there, gives us some information on the side of the box here. It says the Destin 1 Black Myth WuKong. On the back there's very little information, very clean. It says it's the premium version. That's cool. But yeah, very clean and just not a whole lot going on. I dig it though, man. It's kind of mysterious. Right here on the front it says Black Myth WuKong, Queen Studios, Inart 12 scale. And yeah, looks good. But enough about the pretty box. Let's go ahead and get this guy out and take a look. Ooh, damn, okay. So here we have the Monkey King, the Destin 1, right out of the packaging. And man, I've got to tell you guys, right off the top, this thing is incredible. Queen Studios did a phenomenal job on this figure, especially in regards to the sculpted detail. I was not expecting the level of detail that we see on this figure. It's mind-blowing. As soon as I took it out of the box, I was kind of like, oh, damn, like, I wasn't expecting this. I've seen like the promo images and he looks great in those images, but it's one of those things where like when you see it in person, it's like, oh my God, you see all these little things and it's like, how did they even do that? So yeah, man, they absolutely killed it. There's so much good stuff. He's got like some soft goods and all these other like little sculpted pieces that look amazing. The articulation is really fun on this figure. You wouldn't think that it would be able to move all that much because there's so much going on, but nah, he's really posable and fun to handle. I really like this design for this character. Obviously he's been around forever and he's popped up in all types of different things like comics and games and books and whatever. And he has a lot of different looks. And I feel like this is a good like amalgamation of different looks. Like it combines certain elements from different looks that we've seen. Like he does have a lot of armor, but he also has the soft goods and all this kind of stuff. And he doesn't have like too much armor, which is good because I'm not like the biggest fan of that design for the character, like having all types of armor. I like kind of a stripped down look for him. That's why I'm such a big fan of the Nada Toys Monkey King because, he just has his clothing, like no armor. But this right here works really well. I think it's a good balance of like the armored look and like the more toned down kind of style. But man, this thing it's ridiculous. I knew it was going to be a cool figure, obviously, but like I didn't think that like it totally caught me off guard seeing all like the details on here. I was like, oh man, what is going on here? It's crazy that Queen Studio is able to achieve this level of detail in this scale. It's crazy, man. So yeah, right out of the box, I am super impressed with this figure. But let's go ahead and get in close and take a look at all that detail because like I said, man, I'm excited to show you guys what they did here. They really killed it. So there are a lot of great things about this figure, but in my opinion, the most impressive aspect of this guy is the level of detail in the sculpt. What they were able to achieve on this figure, it's incredible, man. It's mind-blowing, the level of detail that the sculpt of this guy has. It's insane. But let's go ahead and take a look starting off at the head. So I love this design for the Monkey King because it kind of leans a little bit more almost human, like obviously you see him and it looks like a monkey or an animal or whatever, but it kind of looks human at the same time. There are other versions of the Monkey King that straight up look like a monkey, but that's not the case with this look. And yeah, I think this figure captures it great. And it looks very accurate to the way that he looks in the video game, which is, obviously the whole point here. But yeah, man, it kind of has an uncanny valley type of effect where you look at this and you go, man, like it looks kind of human, but the more you look at it, the less human it actually is, He's got a lot of animal features. And same thing could be said about the figure in a way, where it's like, it's a toy, but it looks so lifelike. Look at the skin and all the different colors. I love like that pinkish color that we see on the nose and the darkness around the eyes. And speaking of the eyes, they look incredibly lifelike. You know, they have a little bit of wetness in there, and yeah, they just look super realistic. And you know what's crazy about this figure? A lot of this stuff that I'm talking about, you can't even really see with the naked eye. Like, you have to get in there close to see all the details and all the different things that we have going on here. So yeah, it's insane. Then moving on to the body, look at all of the different like textures and layers and just everything, man. It's crazy. Look here on the shoulder, like there's so much going on the shoulder pad here. It's kind of hard to even describe. I could see a face and like some serpents and then just all kinds of little designs. But look at this. Like these little balls or whatever they are super tiny, but they have texture and sculpt work on them. Like how do they do stuff like that? How do they get so much detail in these small little areas? That's why I'm so impressed by this. I'm like baffled by it. I'm like, how do they do it, you know? And look at all this right here. This is really well done. I like all the colors, like the subtle redness kind of hidden throughout the armor is really cool. And check out the back here too. And again, I know it's the armor definitely has like a sci-fi kind of vibe to it, but it still looks lifelike, you know? It looks like it jumped out of a movie or something. But look at all this, man. Look at all... What's going on in there? It's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I'm just blown away by this. I just don't understand how they're able to achieve this level of detail in this scale. Oh, is that a face right there? I think it is. Jeez, man. And then check out the stuff around his waist. This is really impressive too because there's a lot of different colors and a lot of things going on here, but all of the paint is pretty much perfect. Like I don't see any imperfections. Maybe when I'm like editing the video and it's on the screen, maybe I'll be able to point something out, but as of right here, I don't see any imperfections. Like the belts are perfectly painted, and it's cool cuz like all the paint is very like intentional with this figure. There's no sloppiness or paint where it's not supposed to be or anything like that. Here you have like 3 different colors very close to each other, but they did a great job at painting them cleanly in the way that they're supposed to be colored, you know? We've got this thing down here, which, let's see what's going on with that. Yeah, even this little thing has some texture on it. So really great stuff, man. And then, you know, he does have some soft goods. The soft goods are very nice too. I like the design on his outfit there. It looks very cool. And it does have a bendy wire, so you could pose it around. That's always nice. And then this right here is all really well done. Check out the details there. The legs have some more just insane armor work. Like, let's see what we can find on his kneecap. Is there like faces in there too? I don't know. It's kind of hard to see. The design is very busy. But yeah, there's some great stuff going on here. Then we have the feet. Oh, I wanted to show you the hands too because the hands are very cool. He's got a little bit of hair on the top of his hands. And then I like how the hands have like different colors and things going on here. Like the fingertips are darker, you know, like maybe he's been clawing around or digging around in the dirt. And then, you know, there's some tan, brownness, a little bit of redness. And yeah, it just looks good, man. They have all those colors in there to give it a very lifelike feel. But man, you know, I don't know what else to say other than I'm just extremely impressed with what they were able to do with the sculpt and everything. Like the fact that they're able to achieve this type of thing in 1/12 scale is just mind-blowing to me because there's just so much good stuff here, man. And I just love the way it looks. I love the design of the character, and I love the way it looks in figure form. And for accessories, this guy comes with a bunch of really cool stuff, including 7 sets of hands. So first off, we have a pair of open hands, a set of open clawed hands, a set of fists, loose gripping hands, tight gripping hands, and then some open gripping hands. The previous 2 sets of gripping hands are actually closed, the fingers are connected, but these ones are open. And then lastly, I guess we could call these like martial arts gesturing hands or something. And then he does come with a few artifacts from the game, including this right here. I had to look all of these up. This thing is called the Incensed Trail Talisman. And yeah, this is really cool, man. It's very well sculpted, especially for being so small. There's a lot of details in it. Look at, there's even like detail on the side of it. This thing is tiny. You could see like how small it is in my hand. But they did a great job with all of the detail work on there. So Yeah, that's nice. And then next up, he comes with this little container here, and this thing holds on to his enhanced tiger subduing pellets. So, I'm sure that's a useful tool in the game, but yeah, that's cool, man. This is a cool thing to include. It's really well sculpted. It's very small, but the details on it are nice. And then for the final game artifact, he has the Supreme Gourd. And look at the detail on this thing. Again, it's really small, but highly detailed, and the paintwork on it is crazy. It's just like super clean considering all the different colors and just how small it is, It's a very little thing, but the paintwork on it is very clean. And you know what I like about both this and the enhanced tiger pellets is that they can be stored on the figure. Not at the same time, but he has this little hook on the back that we looked at earlier, and you can store his little artifacts on there. So, and then he does come with one alternate head sculpt, and that's this right here, where he's rocking this really dope looking mask. And look at this thing, man. Just like the rest of the figure, it just has incredible detail. Look at all that. It kind of looks like a bat or something, huh? Is that what it's supposed to be? Let me know in the comments. All I know is that the details are insane everywhere on this figure. Look at that. That is really nice. Oh, the mask even has some teeth in there. Interesting. But yeah, man, that's a cool looking mask, a dope looking head sculpt. It would have been nice if he came with like some head sculpts that had some different expressions or something, but I'm okay with the two heads that he came with. And then as for weapons, he pretty much only comes with one type of weapon, and that's his Rat Sage staff. As you could see, he's holding on to it very nicely. And this thing is cool, man. There's some weight to it, and the reason why is because there's actually metal running through the middle of the staff so that, it doesn't bend or warp or anything like that. I think that's a great idea, and that's a good way to make sure that this thing stays looking the way it's supposed to. And the detail on the staff is just as impressive as the rest of the figure. Look at this, man. There's all kinds of stuff going on here. There's all types of shapes and designs and just a bunch of crazy stuff sculpted in here. And I love how there's different textures, and it looks like it's made of like different types of material. Like up here, it looks like it's made of metal, and then down here we have some parts that look like they're made of stone. Just look at that, man. That's crazy. Insane detail work. Look at all this stuff. How do they even do this? Oh, we got some flames right there. What's this? Is that like a dragon or something? There's no way that you could see that just by looking at it. You have to get like a magnifying glass or something. Or I don't know, maybe I'm just old or something. I can't see that stuff. But right here on camera I can. And yeah, look as we move on down the rest of the staff here, it looks like there's wood and stone and metal and all kinds of stuff. Down here it's the same as the opposite end, but yeah, man, really impressive detail work on this thing. In addition to this staff, if you get the premium version of this figure, he comes with an extended staff, and you basically have to take the ends off this one here, and you could see that the regular staff is pretty small once you take the ends off. Let's go ahead and push him back a little bit. And then you get the extended staff, and then you just put these ends on. And there's like, they key in. So there's like only one way that you could put them on. So you don't have to, worry about putting it on incorrectly. You just kind of get them on there and twist it until the pieces key into each other, and then you're good to go. And look how long this staff is. Look at this thing. It is crazy. So it's cool to have these two different options. And there's something really cool you could do with the long staff and the stand that we see back here. And we'll take a look at that in just a minute. This stand is very nice. It's just clear plastic, and it looks good and everything. And as you can see, there's this really long arm. But yeah, we'll take a look at that in just a minute. So the staff is very cool. But then he also comes with some effects. And I believe these effects only come with the premium version of this figure. And these effects are kind of like swinging effects. And they're kind of heavy. Like they're made of pretty thick plastic. But once again, they key in to the staff piece. So there's really... Actually, the way they key in makes it really helpful when it comes to these things, because then you won't have them like swinging around where they're not supposed to. There we go. And yeah, it's really heavy. He definitely has trouble holding on to it. But thankfully, he comes with this piece here, and that helps him hold on to it if you want to display him with this. Without this, like, yeah, it's going to be falling all over the place. So it's kind of hard to use for like photos and stuff. Hopefully you guys could get a good look at what we have going on here. But I mean, if you could hide this thing in a photo, you could definitely make it work. But yeah, this is cool. I think this looks amazing. Look at that. Bam. I think I'm going to display him like this. I'm going to take up some shelf space, but he's going to look really dope. But yeah, man, this effect is very heavy. So so I'm glad that it came with this little stand. Let me give you a look at this stand. Like, if you don't use the stand, it's going to be tough for you. Let's see if we could balance them just for a second. Yeah, you could see this thing is kind of falling all over the place. But yeah, here's the stand. Just a small little thing. So it can be easy to hide in photos and stuff. Sorry, I kind of wanted to show you this whole process. Hopefully you guys... Oh, look at that. See, that looks pretty cool. Let's get these out of the way. Yeah, I mean, again, this thing is kind of heavy and a little annoying, but if you could get it set up, it looks really cool. Like, this is dope right here. I like that quite a bit. So this is probably how I'm going to display him. And these effects have some pretty nice detail in them. It looks really good. Definitely looks like, you know, the staff is making a swooping motion. It's a very convincing effect. So I like it, man. I like the red in there, and I like how it's like translucent. You could see through it. See a little bit of details from the staff that kind of match, you know, the non-swinging staff. Man, yeah, I like that. That's really dope. So this is a very cool accessory. It just takes a little bit of work to make it function in a way that makes sense. And thankfully, there's thicker parts of this thing so that, like, when you stick it on the stand, it actually wedges in place and it makes it a lot more secure. So, you know, they definitely made this work. And then we have this whole setup here, and this is insane. Like, as you can see, we can use the base that he comes with. It has some like additional pieces that you could put on there, and you can position the Monkey King like balancing on the staff. It's very hard to get them on there in a natural and cool looking way. So I did my best here. The people that took the official promo images of this figure did a much better job with it. But, you know, I still think this looks pretty cool. And I think this would make for a really, really nice like centerpiece for the display, you know, like if you had a bunch of Monkey King figures around him. But I'd be afraid that this might fall over or something because it's very it's very wobbly. You can tighten these screws though and maybe make sure that it's gonna hold. But yeah, this is crazy. This is such an insane idea. It's kind of hard to show, but yeah, man, this is this is super dope. I like this a lot. I don't know, like, I don't know how often I'm gonna be using this whole situation, but it is a very cool, unique thing to incorporate into this figure. It's a lot of fun. It is hard to get his hands to grip onto the staff. The tight gripping hands are like way too tight, and you can't really get them high enough to like hold up here. And you want him as high as possible on this thing. I think that's the way that it looks the coolest. So you have to use like the looser gripping hands, and it still can't get all the way up, but it gets high enough to where he's hanging out like pretty high on the staff. So yeah, this is crazy. And the stand that he comes with is very cool. It has a lot of different uses, and it's nice. It looks good and it holds the figure well, and you could do different things with it. So that's really dope. And then getting into size comparisons, we're gonna start this off with the Monkey King alongside the other Inart 1/12 scale figures from Queen Studio. These are the only ones that they've done so far. Over here we have Zubaje from the Black Myth video game, same game as the Monkey King. And then on the opposite side we have the Dark Knight Rises Christian Bale Batman. And, you know, I think that Queen Studios is off to a great start with their 1/12 scale figures. They've been doing the 1/6 scale thing for a very long time, and they've been successful there. But it's really cool to see them transition into 1/12 scale and do such a good job with it. They've been killing it. Honestly, I think the Monkey King has been my favorite figure from them so far. They did a great job on both of these, especially Batman. He came out very nice. And this guy is incredible too, especially in regards to like sculpted detail and all that. But the Monkey King is the best one in my opinion. He just has so much good stuff going on. And then here we have him alongside the Nada Toys Monkey King figure. And then on the opposite side, I can't remember this dude's name, but he's also by Nada Toys, and he came in the same set as the Monkey King. And I love both of these figures. In fact, this is the only Monkey King figure that I owned before getting this Inart version. And there has been some other cool ones that have come out recently, like a couple years ago, Four Horsemen put out their Monkey King in the Figure Obscura line. And then recently, Fury Toys released a Monkey King. And both of those are very, very cool, but I haven't really been inclined to buy them. And, I wasn't really sure why until like a few minutes ago. And it's that, like, I'm not a big fan of the gold armor. Like, it's cool and everything, but I like this version of the Monkey King a lot more. And I feel like this in-art version is a good mix of like this and then the fully armored version that we've seen from those other companies. So, yeah, I definitely want to get those other ones now that I have these two so I can make up like a Monkey King shelf. But I definitely prefer the look of these guys compared to those. And then just to show them off with a couple of random things, here we have them alongside the Mezco 112 Collective Junkyard Joe. And then on the opposite side, we have the Damn Toys Golden Dog. Next up, we have him alongside the Thousand Toys Hellboy and then the Mafex Night Crusader Batman. And then, of course, we have to show him off alongside the Marvel Legends Renew Your Vows Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. And you could see that the Monkey King is definitely on the small side for 112 scale figures. I guess you could say he's like true 112 scale. That's usually like an excuse to make things a little smaller, but I'm definitely okay with the size of this figure. And then last but not least, we have him alongside my original character, Odious from Unparalleled Universe. And then on the opposite side, we have the NECA Mirage Comics Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Kirby, aka the King Jack Kirby. And man, I was really impressed with the articulation on this figure because to be honest with you, I didn't think that he would be that posable. I figured, he's got a very busy design with the armor, the soft goods, and all that stuff. I thought it would get in the way of the articulation, but it turns out that I was completely wrong because the articulation on this figure is really, really nice. He's definitely very posable and fun to play with. And Queen Studios did some really interesting things with some of the joints that are kind of like out of the box, that you don't really see on a lot of action figures. So it's pretty interesting what they did here. And as a result, the figure is a whole lot of fun to play with, and he's very posable. So let's go ahead and see what we have going on, starting off at the head. So he does have movement at the lower neck and at the upper neck. Using both of those joints, we get some really nice tilt action. Check that out. His head moves around in all the different directions. It could go down to about right there, which is pretty good. And then it could go up to right there, which is nice. And then obviously he can look side to side. And you could see that like his lower neck has some armor, but the armor just kind of shifts around. It's like a separate piece than the neck, and it doesn't get in the way at all. So they did some really good stuff there. And then for the torso, he only has like a ball joint here in the torso, like kind of above the waist, not quite as low as the waist. It's kind of high and it's cut kind of high. But that's okay because it's covered by all of this and it allows for some pretty decent movement. Like he's able to crunch forward to about right there, which, it's not a whole lot or anything, but it's definitely a good amount considering all the stuff that he has going on with the design. So pretty good movement going forward. Then we get some nice like side to side action. You can twist on that ball joint and just kind of move it around in all different directions. So that's nice. And then for the arms, so the arms are really interesting because he does have shoulder joints, but they kind of remind me of like a Revoltech shoulder joint. You know how they have like those plates that kind of shift on the upper torsos? Like this is the same kind of thing. And it like moves down, moves up, it does all kinds of weird stuff. I wonder what's under there. Oh, I see what they did. It's just like all open in there. And then there's this like overlay covering it. That's interesting. So it's not quite like a Revoltech, but it kind of seems like one because it has this plate that kind of shifts around. See, that's cool, man. They just left this open and crazy looking and then covered it up. And as a result, we get some really great movement out of the arm. That's dope, man. I just kind of looked at that right now. But look at the movement on the shoulder. You can move this all around different directions. You can do all kinds of good stuff. Bring his arm back to about right there. Bring it forward. Yeah, man, that's cool. And then he does have this shoulder armor that is articulated, so it shifts like that, and you could also kind of like shift it up and down to get it out of the way. And then the arms do come up a pretty good amount. Let's see, the shoulder does. Here, let's try this arm. So the arms do get up a pretty good amount. Check this out. Man, this side, the shoulder armor does kind of hinder it a little bit, but you could see that the joint itself has some pretty good range. So the arms get up a really good amount. I really like that shoulder situation. That's cool. And then, this arm can go up to about right there, but then it's stopped by the soft goods. This arm can obviously go all the way around. So that's nice. And then he does have like upper bicep swivel, but it's not like your standard, like just a peg in there. It's kind of like a ball joint. So you can swivel on there, but then you could also shift it around a little bit. See how it shifts around? That's interesting. That's an interesting way to do it. That's another thing that kind of reminded me of Revoltech. So yeah, good stuff there. And then at the elbow, he does have double jointed elbows. Look at that, man. With all this armor on, he's able to bend his elbow to right there. That is awesome. And then, let's see what's going on here. Uh-oh, did something get stuck? I think there's something stuck somewhere that I'm not seeing. There we go. And then the forearm guard is also able to rotate. And then he does have a ball joint at the wrist that has a hinge, so you can move the hands around. You could spin that ball joint around so you could get the hands facing whatever direction you want. And then you could also spin the hands on the actual peg there. So really good stuff at the arms. And again, I'm just really impressed that they were able to fit all of this in here with all of the armor. It's crazy. Oh, and then I just noticed the elbow. Does the elbow shift? Oh, no, it doesn't. I thought it shifted like on the upper part there, but it doesn't. And then over on this side, the arm gets just as much range even with the soft goods. So that's nice. But man, good stuff there at the arms. And then now for the legs. The legs, again, the legs kind of remind me of a Revoltech joint too, because he does have like an upper thigh joint, but it's like on a ball joint. Look at that. So you get all kinds of movement out of it, and it rotates and does its thing. It's a little gappy, but it's covered up, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, his leg's able to come up to about right there, which, again, how crazy is that with all this stuff that he has going on? So that's really nice. He's able to bring his leg out to the side to about right there. So that's good. And then, as I mentioned, he has like this upper thigh joint that gets a swivel and a little bit of shifting and whatever you need. So that's cool. Then he does have double jointed knees. The double jointed knee bends to about right there, which is pretty good. Not all the way, but still nice. And then like the knee pad here is also articulated. It's on a little ball joint, so, it could shift around if you need it out of the way. And then the foot, I like what they did with the foot too. So he does have like a ball joint at the ankles. And then also there's like a ball joint like somewhere up here, so the foot could kind of shift around and get out of the way of the armor. And then it can spin side to side. You got some rocking action, a little bit of rocking action, but the ball joint on the foot is a little deep in there. So yeah, but I really like this joint that's up high in here. I don't know if it's a ball joint. I mean, it's got to be a ball joint because it's moving around quite a bit. And then he does have toe hinge. And, these 4 toes are all connected, and then his big toe is separate. So that has its own articulation. And so, yeah, man, like I said, the articulation, obviously it's not the craziest articulation ever, but considering like what this guy has going on, the articulation is way more than I expected, and definitely more than enough for a character like this. You could definitely get him into like a lot of cool fighting poses or just monkey swinging poses. He also has a bendy wire in the tail, which is nice. And yeah, man, just really, really impressive stuff. It kind of caught me by surprise. Like it totally caught me off guard. I didn't think that he would have that much articulation. Like when I picked him up and started playing with it, I was like, oh man, this is crazy. Oh, this moves? Oh wow, he could do this? Oh geez. Like I didn't think that was going to be the case. But man, they absolutely killed it with the articulation on him. And it seems like they're getting better with articulation, like compared to Batman or whatever. And just getting more creative, like finding different ways to approach certain joints. And I love that kind of stuff. I love seeing like innovation and, like people taking risks and trying different things with articulation. That's always fun to see. And with this figure, it yielded some great results. So I'm very happy with the articulation on this guy, and I'm definitely having a lot of fun playing around with it.
Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, I like this figure quite a bit. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the year, this figure ended up in my top 10 figures of 2025. He's that good, and to be honest with you, I was not expecting to like this figure as much as I do. Yes, I was looking forward to it, and I knew it was going to be cool because Queen Studios has been doing great work lately. So, I knew it was going to be a nice figure, but I did not think that I would be as like blown away by it. But as soon as I took it out of the box, there's just so much crazy stuff going on. Like the detail, the sculpt, the soft goods, the articulation, the accessories. There's just a lot there, and all of it is very high quality. As far as like the details go, I'm just kind of like baffled by the level of detail in the sculpt, in the armor, and there's just so much good stuff going on. It's very impressive. I love the lifelike look that he has in the face. They did a great job with that, and yeah, man, I think it captures the look from the video game perfectly. But on top of that, like, me not even being connected to the video game, I just love the look and the design, and I think Queen Studios translated it perfectly and turned it into an amazing looking figure. As far as the articulation goes, they did some really interesting things here, like some things that I wasn't expecting. And some of the joints on this figure kind of remind me of Revoltech in a way. Like they just did these weird little things that are very unique and some things I haven't seen before. And it's not like they're going to revolutionize articulation in the 112 scale, but I will say the articulation on this guy is very unique and different from what we've seen on other figures in this scale. So that's very interesting. And as far as the accessories go, there's a lot of great stuff here. I like the two heads, all the hands, all the little video game artifacts, and the two different staff options. You don't get both staff options unless you get the premium version. So, there's that. You do have like an option to pay for a less expensive version if you want less accessories, so that's cool. But if you go with the premium version, there's lots of great stuff here. I like the two different staff options, the swooshing effect, and the long staff that you could actually display him on. That's insane, and it would make for a very cool looking display piece. I would be kind of worried that it would fall eventually, but I did have it like displayed like that for a couple of days and I didn't have any issues, so maybe it will be okay. I will say the swooshing effect for the staff is very cool, but it can definitely be a little bit annoying because it's heavy. But thankfully it did come with the stand so that you could display it, but trying to get him holding that in the air for pictures or whatever might be a little difficult, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I like all the accessories. The heads are cool. I do wish that he came with a few more head sculpts, like maybe something with some emotion. That would have been really nice, but I do like the masked and the unmasked head that he does come with, so that's nice. And yeah, man, just in general, this is a really great figure. Crazy accessories, insane sculpt, really good articulation, fun to play with. That's one thing about this figure. I did not expect for it to be such a like hand-friendly piece. I've been having a lot of fun playing around with this figure. It's definitely hard to put down. There's lots of great stuff you could do with it. That kind of caught me by surprise. I didn't think that would be the case, so that's really dope. But yeah, man, in general, a really nice piece, and it's probably going to end up in my top 10 at the end of the year. And with that, I think that's it. Huge thank you to the folks over at Queen Studios for sending this out to me. I really do appreciate it. You guys did a phenomenal job, and I can't wait to see where you guys go with the 112 scale Inart line, because so far, you're off to an amazing start. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I will leave some pre-order links in the description below as well as in the pinned comment. So if you want to pick this up, be sure to check those out. Thank you very much. Peace.